Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 16 of Digital Hoarders. I'm so excited to have everyone here watching live and listening on our podcast on different venues. We have a special guest today, David Prien. I am so excited. Good friend, a great guy. I'm just really excited for this. I've been looking forward to this and I'm ready to dig into this. So, David, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me, Jeff, and everyone else. My name is David Prien. I am currently a director of hardware development at Microsoft, specifically at Xbox. I was working mainly on controllers and delivering all that, and I don't think even you know this, Doc, but I have actually switched over to console development from now on.
Oh, I did not know that.
I've kind of taken over all future development for the hardware, slightly different role than the past. But a lot of people know me as the controller guy, so it stands for a while, but it's okay. But one thing people usually tend to talk to me about is I was working on the Elite controller. So me and my team, I led the Elite controller, and then we continued to work through some of the other projects that led from that. So working a lot with the XDL team and the rest of them. But I've been here for about 4 years and still love every single moment of it.
Awesome. You definitely, you and your team created an amazing product. And so, definitely kudos to you. And I'm excited for your next position. I know from your history, from R&D back at Nokia all the way to these days, you really have grown. So I'm happy to see that. And I look forward to what you and your future teams create for the industry and all of us gamers. So. Definitely.
So you worked on the Nokia phone?
Yeah, actually, straight out of college, my internship was Nokia, and I started with them, and that's actually I got. I think I worked with them for 13 years. I think.
Is it true that those phones are just indestructible, like just a brick?
Back in the day, it's funny. Nowadays, there's obviously the Nokia phones that were out just a couple of years ago. Those obviously aren't in the same boat. But the ones that you're talking about, that the big joke was like the little, 5900 series and 6100 series.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We used to joke around when I lived in Dallas, in the design center. We had a small patio or a deck on the 5th floor of the building, and we used to drop them off. Just to see and surprisingly, like that series, it actually still worked.
That's not surprising. Yeah. I've seen those phones. That's not surprising at all.
I was walking into the house earlier and I dropped my phone and it shattered into a million pieces. So right now I'm kind of wishing I had a Nokia that I could drop and tunnel into the middle of the earth.
You could play Snake on it.
If you look it up, they're selling them again, or they're about to, or they announced they're going to. I don't know if they're selling them or they announced, but the company, Microsoft bought Nokia, and then Nokia then sold Microsoft then sold Nokia, but they sold the name, not the product. So there's another company in Finland that's now making Nokia phones under the name Nokia, and I'm not sure what patents they own, but I know they bought the name from us, and they're actually, I think, making that exact little tiny 6100 or 5100, the one that was truly indestructible. They're making it again.
That is crazy.
So the Elite controllers are just as indestructible, I'm guessing, right?
I'm sure there's a few people that wouldn't agree with that, but it's a really tough subject. We're not making heart monitors. I would love to say, that there's a reason a heart monitor costs $100,000 and a controller costs $150. We'd like to make everything perfect, and we're constantly making changes. But the one of the big issues we have is like a bumper. People always are complaining to me about a bumper problem, and the truth is, it's no different than the regular controller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people just like to complain.
Fans, which good, bad, and different. I love it. Because let me tell you, we are constantly working on things to improve it, and that includes the regular controller, not just the Elite. But we've walked a couple of people through, and we've talked about this in the past. I did some interviews with GameStop that we did the same thing, where we even told them, we changed our test methods based on some of the feedback of the Elite controller.
That's awesome.
something very simple like an actuator hitting the bumper. You know, it used to be a straight, and it does it for, I won't even tell you how many times, but 7 digits. It just hits it. Well, what we found was why the Elite controller is the same exact design as the regular controller, so it shouldn't be failing anymore. What it is there are more bumper jumper style percentage-wise playing on an Elite and on a standard controller as a percentage.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're finding is that bumper jumpers hit it at an angle on the bumper instead of straight on. And so, so if we then take the actuator and make it hit from the bottom instead of from the top or from the front, you can actually find a lower or a higher failure rate. But if you put a regular controller, it does the exact same thing. So that's what I mean. It's nothing different than how a regular controller works. But now we have all new tests to test for that. So different grip styles that Elite style players would be using versus what a regular or maybe a casual player would use. So we're changing our methods based on development as well as tests based on even social media for that matter.
That's awesome. That's all you can ask for a company is to be listening to their consumers. So that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's people seem to forget that it's still just a video game controller, but it's a gorgeous controller. God, it's such a nice controller.
I finally got my hands on one, and I absolutely love it. I was playing I played Rise with it, PUBG, and Hello Neighbor, and at first the paddles on the back threw me off for a bit because I kept bumping them. But what I absolutely love is how incredibly easy they are to remove in case they get if you keep bumping them like I kept doing. But I don't know what they're in there with. It just feels like it's like I don't know, but they come off so easily. And then when you just have the controller there, I love the D-pad and all that. It's first time I got to use it, but I really really like it a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people always one of the first things they say is, "Oh, I can't use paddles. I'm sorry. Like I tried, but I can't." I'm like, I don't think you understand. When I designed it, the whole point of the design was you play the way you want to play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never offended when people take the paddles off. And to your exact point, Rand, that's exactly why we made them so easily removable. It's not I expect people to play paddles. In fact, I myself only play 2. I don't know. Like 4 is hard.
Yeah.
There's only certain games like Smite or things like that I even play for. But it is interesting how many people apologize to me, and I'm like, no. That just proves our point of we're designing it for how you want it to be, not how I'm telling you it should look.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, because when I first opened it up, I didn't know about the paddles on the back, so I was looking at it like, the hell? And I started playing. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. But then I just kept bumping them in Rise, and I don't remember what it was doing, but it was not what I wanted it to. And then I was like, oh man! And then you just literally go like this, and they pop right off. Like, oh shit, that's awesome. So yeah, I and now with PUBG, once I'm not terrible at it, hopefully is sometime soon.
Maybe
I can incorporate the paddles into it and get a little higher than 42nd place. But we'll see. We'll see.
I guess I could train you.
You've played 117 matches today alone. So
yeah.
No, not that many. I've only played.
You're playing right now, aren't you?
No, it's over there. I've got my full attention here. No, I played 6 matches, so it was pretty good. Definitely, that's something I wanted to talk to you guys about. Your thoughts on if you've played it. But I got a top 2, top 4, and 3 top 5s with my brother today in duos, and I love it. I'm playing on the X. My brother's playing on the S. We're just having a great time. Sure, it has a few hiccups, but it's a game preview and it's only going to get better. So
it's 24 hours old. So
yeah. And what I'm seeing, constant people playing on it. I'm always getting tagged and stuff. So yep. I think the reception's really good. I think it's a good product for the holidays, and I think we're going to build momentum. What's your guys' thoughts on it?
I come from I play a ton of Fortnite. So going into PUBG, it had that bit of a learning curve of it's a much slower, tactical game than it was with Fortnite. With Fortnite, once you land, like I was telling these guys, within 30 seconds you're going to find a gun, and within 2 minutes you're probably going to run into somebody. No bullshit. I was running around for like 13 minutes yesterday, and I didn't see a single person in PUBG because the map is so much bigger. So I've got to change the way I play because I'm used to just being like run and gun, but that's not the case. Like I played only 2 matches last night, but I didn't find a gun at all. So I'm just listening to everybody shooting around me while I'm hiding behind a love seat. But it worked.
Just like real life.
Just like real life, yes. But I like it, and when you see these, and I'm not somebody who will jump on a game if it's laggy servers or whatever at first, because one of my favorite games of the year is Friday the 13th, and that game still suffers. So I'd be a super hypocrite to be knocking anything that might be happening with PUBG. Only got a couple matches in, but had fun, and I just have to get better. And I know that only comes by playing more. And Doc and Alden and I were talking, and we're gonna get we're gonna have our squad, and we're gonna put Chris Thompson in there as the 4th, who has already won at least 1 match. So we'll be good once I'll just hide behind him, and I'll get a win finally. So
Chris is just good at everything. He scores touchdowns, and then he beats us at Fortnite, and now he's beating us at PUBG.
Yep.
I only played 1 match. Full disclosure, I come from the PC. I played the PUBG on the PC. I put a lot of hours into it on PC, and then I stopped when Fortnite came out because it was easier to play Fortnite with a controller sitting on the couch, and it was a little bit more fun and fast-paced. So going back into the Xbox One version of PUBG, hold on, sorry, I was disappointed first and foremost. And I'm not going to say anything bad about the game itself because, like Brandon said, when Friday the 13th came out, the servers were a disaster. The game was a nightmare for probably a month. I mean, it was a couple weeks at least where it was really bad, and then they would promise, okay, we're back, we're good to go. Everybody jump in this weekend, and everybody would jump in, and it would fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give it a window where I cut it some slack. That first match I played at 5 or 6 in the morning, so it had just been out for 5 or 6 hours. Servers were bad. It was very laggy. It had a lot of hiccups, and I've got to learn the controls still. So my first experience was bad. But again, like I said, I'm not going to fault the game for that. PUBG on PC really changed the way I feel about online gaming because it was so much fun and so suspenseful. I can't wait to get into this one, but I probably won't jump back into it this week. Fortnite's doing their 50v50 mode right now, literally to coincide with PUBG's release, and that only lasts for a few more days.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that. So I'm going to keep playing that and give PUBG kind of a chance to A, fix its servers, and B, die down a little bit so that it's not so buggy for me.
How is the 50-50?
It's really fun.
The trailer was a little misleading.
Yeah.
So if you saw the trailer that they announced at the Game Awards, it was they were in 2 buildings just facing off each other. And I watched them like, oh my God, that looks amazing. So when we're parachuting in, I'm like, well, this doesn't make any sense. We're all still just going all over the map. I'm sure it'll make sense when I land. Nope. You're just on a team with 49 other people. So the trailer was super misleading.
It was.
But
I've played a dozen rounds. We haven't made one super structure like it showed in the trailer. It would have been really cool to make those giant.
That's what
forts.
I wanted.
It
So
looks
bad.
so cool. But I can't even. When I play on a group of 4, unless I know the whole group, it's a disaster. Can you imagine trying to get 49 people on the same page?
Buildings.
No chance.
But it's fun. Yeah, I like
fun.
it.
It's fun when you're running through a field and there's like 10 other players on your team running around with you, and then one guy on the hill snipes you, and you're like, "Oh, really, dude?" And then you all just kind of surround him and eat him like a lion.
I'm kind of hoping that they keep it. I'm a little confused by the limited time run. I'm guessing they just want to test it, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So hopefully it makes its way back, or they just don't remove it at all. But I like it. Have you messed with a lot of Fortnite, David?
I've played, yeah. I haven't done the 50-50, but I've done regular Fortnite, and I like it. It is a lot of fun. I mean, it's not PUBG. I mean, it is PUBG, but it's definitely a unique game and it's much faster, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as tactical sometimes, but other people would argue with me the exact opposite. But because you can build, and so you can be very tactical if you're a builder. But I stink at building. Like
Same.
Yeah, me too.
I still have, as much as I love controllers, even I struggle with the controls for building. I'm constantly, or setting traps. I feel like every time I put a trap, I'm like, I want to here, and it ends up over there. And
Yeah.
I'm so
I just
bad.
put a floor trap on the ceiling. That didn't work.
Well, when the game first came out, it was clear that you had to be good at building to win a match. Like the people who could build well would win matches. But as it's gone on, it's become more and more of like, as soon as somebody starts building, everybody on the map shoots and kills them. So building isn't as a big a priority anymore as it used to be. Now it's almost a detriment.
I feel like it's squads. Like if you're doing squads, building is much more useful. But I feel in singles, I definitely play more of a run and gun style in the singles. But if I'm with squads, building, it seems like a much easier way to win now. But
yeah,
and especially with 50-50, you can step back and watch the people that play a lot of Fortnite. And they're just building this thing around you, and say, I'm like you. I'm like, I put that one wall up there, and while I did that, they've got an entire structure built around me. But it is cool when you get like 20 guys in one structure, and you are, picking off people left and right. It is a lot of fun. So, like I said, I hope it sticks. And Doc, have you played a lot of Fortnite? I know you're playing a lot of PUBG right now.
I've played maybe 20 minutes of Fortnite.
Okay.
What I did play of it was really fun. I think I got a top 12 on my first map try on the thing. It was fun. Like you guys were saying, with the controls and that stuff, it's totally different for me. For like heavy multiplayer shootings, I've been really stuck with the PC side of the house playing it versus the controller base. So it was a little bit different going towards that. So, yeah, but for now, I mean, what I did enjoy about it is it's very vibrant. It was very smooth. I didn't have any really big hiccups and everything. I kind of felt like I got dropped in the World of Warcraft with guns, to be honest. So that's what that's what I thought it was. I was like, oh, this kind of looks like, I'm out here in Earth. Okay, well, here we go. For the Horde, no, but it's a pretty interesting game. I'm definitely more of a PUBG lover, if you want my honest opinion, because I like the more realistic factor, if that makes sense to it, instead of a cartoonish look. So I definitely enjoy that.
I like that they can survive in the same space and be completely different games at the same time. That's what I like. That maybe the night, that I just want to jump in and I don't want to think. I just want to go out and shoot. That's when I play Fortnite. But the nights that I'm really like, I want to buckle down and put together a strategy, then I can play PUBG. So I like that they can, exist in the same stratosphere. Speaking of strategy, the other game, I've actually been playing a lot of Xbox.
Wow.
Max! The other game I'm playing is Hello Neighbor, which came out this week as well.
How is that? It looks really cool. It looks like I would love it.
I'm enjoying it. I really was not playing video games very well yesterday because I didn't even get the first puzzle done. But it was weird because I played PUBG and I turned it off and then I played Hello Neighbor. And it was the second game in a row that there's zero tutorial. So I'm just like running down the street and I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? I don't even know where to go. And then it slowly begins. There's a tiny, if you hit pause, there's like a tiny little window that has the 3 controllers. But like, it's all about going in and exploring, and they never tell you how to open up a door, open a drawer. And I'm like,
yeah, so it's a stealth game, right? So you've got to.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, you're in this little house. So he has kidnapped somebody, and you hear her like muffled screams, and basically they show you where he puts the key down. And I'm imagining you're supposed to get the key and then rescue.
Who knows?
I don't know because I found that key. And then you have to sneak around his house. But what I really like about it is the house isn't that big. Mm-hmm. So it isn't like the Resident Evil mansion where you just run upstairs and go on the 19th floor and you'll never find me. Mm-hmm. It's one level and it's not very large. So it definitely is very it gets your heart racing.
Right.
And then you can jump into like dressers and stuff to hide from it. So I know it's right up my alley. It's a game I'm going to like. It was also 1:30 in the morning, 2 o'clock when I was playing. So I wasn't prepared to really sit down and go at it. So, but I know once I put more time into them.
Yeah.
Very
Have you
nice.
played anything else, or is that it?
Also, just realized, hope that came through because my mic was on mute the entire freaking time. So I hope that wasn't too quiet.
No, I
Son of a
heard you
bitch.
from a thing.
Okay, good.
We do 2 podcasts a week, and he does this at least once a week.
At least once a podcast. So yeah.
So, I mean, we've got some questions in chat for you, Dave, and I think, the one that stands out is, what games do you find yourself going back to regularly, or, that's from Alex.
I mean, honestly, my still go-to game is Destiny. I mean, it's. I mean, D1 was great. I absolutely loved it and played the heck out of that. D2, I feel like I'm playing. D1, just more of it. But
Okay.
it's the mechanics. I've gotten spoiled. I don't know about you guys. Everyone kind of has their. Are you a Halo person? Are you a COD person? And I feel Destiny just has its own kind of mechanic that I grinded so hard the last 2 years that I can, headshot anybody from anywhere, and I feel like I can play that forever. So every time I'm actually playing PUBG and I get my butt kicked, I go back to the Crucible.
You're like, screw you guys.
Or I actually kind of like it because it's a game I can jump in for 15 minutes and just go and get some gear and kind of move on real quick. And once again, I don't have to think about it. So it's a game I definitely jump into a lot. I mean, there's a lot of older games or classic games. Like I still play every single COD and all that. But if you're asking a game that on a daily basis I'll jump into, it'd probably be Destiny.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely kind of had my hesitations and drawbacks about Destiny 2. But then, somehow I fell into the collector's edition and all that. I was like, I'm not getting it. Well, $250 later, I'm all in. So
Somehow.
That was just Doc yesterday. He's like, I think I'm going to wait on PUBG for a little bit. And now he's put more matches than all of us combined.
Yeah.
We're like...
Well, what's interesting about Destiny 2 for me was I was like, I was really excited to play on PC. And I was like, oh, what I'll do is I'll make that my when I'm at home, I'll play that on PC, and I'll play everything else when I'm here at work or anywhere on any other Xbox. And I find myself still playing on both platforms. So I don't know why. Like I should just pick one, but because we have a large enough clan. Like it's a lot of us here at work. Mm-hmm. So the beauty is, even if I don't play my PC for like 3 or 4 days, I'll go in there and. Because of clan, I'll have all this great, powerful gear just waiting for me. So I keep on going back and forth every day.
It's got its hooks in you.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. The PC version is, I was really surprised how well that one turned out, to be honest, for me. So that definitely is a different experience, going from how well it translated coming from a console to the PC. I think they did a phenomenal job of making that transition, Just kind of like how PUBG came to that. That's always worrisome for me when I look at video games where they're coming from or not. So at least this way, they did a great job. So I don't know.
I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, I don't want to knock systems or anything, but
I know where this is going.
The look on PC is definitely for D2 is just I know. Yeah, I'm not going to go to that subject. That's what I mean. But on PC, it is amazing. Like the way it looks on. So I've got like a 144 monitor, and I've got a 1080 Ti running at home. So it's it's the most stunning game. Like it's visually, at the office, I'm running it on a 4K HDR with my X, and it still looks amazing. But on a PC, it's.
That TI just rips it apart, doesn't it? It's ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. That's why I tried to tell people. I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. You get a TI, it's going to run like butter. It's a whole nother level on what it can do on that. What is this? Another question for you. I mean, we get some. What game are you looking forward to the most in 2018? Crackdown 3, Sea of Thieves, or State of Decay 2? Sorry, State of Decay 2.
That's like completely different.
If I could enunciate the dang word, so State of Decay 2. So.
I mean,
They're-
Crackdown is going to be awesome just because it's Crackdown. And well, oh, and of course you're in it.
I was waiting for that.
Because you're in it is going to be the number one game. But I mean, because Crackdown is going to be really cool because of what it is. I mean, that game is so cool and all that. But I would have to say the most I'm anticipating is Sea of Thieves, just because the fun factor is off the charts. Especially if you've got a group to play with. It is hilarious to play that game. And I mean, it can be serious, but it can be so much fun. And which there aren't too many games that do both. It's usually one or the other. And it definitely is a lot. So that's why I like it for more like a genre difference versus Crackdown is just going to be a great game. I mean, the game itself is just badass. So I'm ready for that one for sure. But I think Sea of Thieves will be the one that for sure I think will because it's so different. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
The thing about Sea of Thieves is Alden and I are both in the same where we look at it from an outside and we're like, I want to like this game. And I feel like it's this game that if we do exactly what you said, if like us four play, I'm going to be hooked. But if I go into that thing messing around by myself, I don't know if it'll grab me. But I feel like that's the perfect game that if, like I said, us and you, we all play as a team, like you said, we can just have lots of dumb fun and just keep coming back to that. And as dumb as this sounds, so that game was always there. Like, all right, I see it. You know, it is what it is. It's dumb. The controller, when they announced the controller, my hype for the game went up, which makes no sense. But I was like, that controller, I want that controller. Gorgeous. And then I'm like, well, I must have the game if we're going to have the controller. Yeah. It's growing on me now. So out of those three, I think State of Decay is the one I would put the most time into, other than murdering Doc and Crackdown 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Just to murder Doc over and over and over and over again. I'll be the worst.
That's for talking over me last week, Doc.
Oh, man.
I'm just that's what I mean. So for me, Sea of Thieves is because it's a genre changer, or it's a slightly different game. And nowadays, don't get me wrong, like, once again, I mean, I'll play the same Destinies, I'll play CODs until they stop making them, but it's fun to have a new genre, like a PUBG. Like you know, it didn't take long for PUBG to blow up, and now all of a sudden everyone's going to start taking something in their own initial tweaks, which is nice. So I think Sea of Thieves is has another chance for that. I don't know if it'll sweep the world since it's obviously console, but it's got a lot of opportunity, and I think that's really cool.
Well, hopefully tomorrow during its special, some good things will come of it, and we'll hopefully persuade the doubters on the other end over there, because I know Craig and his team have done a phenomenal job. I've definitely enjoyed what I've gotten to play. I'm super excited about the single player ships. That's just so cool. I mean, I thought that was a fantastic addition, because you know, they're just not thinking about, okay, here's all that. They're thinking about everyone, you know, so how everyone can have fun in this game. So that's what's really interested me in it. And like you said, it's a genre changer, because for me, I loved Assassin's Creed Black Flag because of the ships. And so taking that, and then they just took that kind of like core thing with the ship and just boom. So that, I mean, I'm hyped for it. So.
Good. What's almost unfair is that what's the Ubisoft game that's coming out? The Skull and Bones or Skull and It's almost unfair because depending on the release date of that, that's multi-platform, and that's almost unfair to Sea of Thieves. So hopefully there's a good distance between. They announced it at E3. I haven't heard a damn thing from that.
I think
there's
a lot more people talking about Sea of Thieves.
Oh, by far.
So I think it's in a good place right now. That's a game I want. Like Brandon said, I hope it's great. Right now, it hasn't grabbed me because I do feel like it is going to be like you play with your friends and it's amazing, but when you play alone, it's not. But I haven't seen much of the single player stuff, so I need to look into that.
Yeah, I mean the barrier to entry on that game is going to be pretty low, which is you want some frictionless start. And so the point is, you know, like you were talking about Hello Neighbor, and I mean that kind of game you kind of want to not know what's going on, but the style of games where you just plopped in a game and you got to kind of figure it out, and you get really frustrated really quickly. I know the Sea of Thieves team is really trying to make this like frictionless startup to make it where, it's kind of not to jump back too far on it, but Destiny, the idea was if you want to play single, you go this way. If you want to play with squad, you play this way. And the idea was there. I mean, it's a completely different kind of game, but the idea of that it can bring anyone in and anyone can play. I haven't even done a lot of the solo play myself because I enjoy it more for the really fun play, which is the group stuff. But I like the group play doesn't have to be everyone's on at 7 p.m. You got to be on till 9 p.m. Like there's ways to drop in and out and to have a little more fun with it than you would like a WoW or a League of Legends or something where you want to run your clan, you run your clan.
Yep. That's awesome. So this is kind of where we end the show. We just talk about what games you've been playing over the thing and, kind of what you've been up to.
Over the thing?
Bro, I just had the biggest mind blank in the world. So I tried to fill. So I was like, oh. And then I saw David over here. I was like, oh, just playing. Anyhow, so, what games have you all been playing through the past week, or something that's just really grabbed you besides if it's been PUBG or whatever, something new, exciting, or something from your backlog?
I finished South Park last week.
Yeah,
nice.
The new one.
Yeah, have you guys all finished that?
No.
Prien and I have. Doc, you haven't, right?
No, that's actually on my list. So
that game it was actually a really good game.
It's a great game, yes.
It's amazing.
I mean, it's amazing to me how much that game, like, I think I played the whole thing in like 5-6 days, I think, and that's while playing other games.
Damn.
So, I don't know about how you guys play, but I usually play like 1 or 2 shooters and 1 or 2 RPGs just to split it up.
Yeah.
And I know I wouldn't classify it as an RPG necessarily, but I'd say it was close to it. So I played that, and I was playing all these other games at the same time, but I finished, I think, in 5 days because I couldn't put it down when I played it.
So good. Did you play Stick of Truth before that?
No, I hadn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
As soon as I finished it, someone was like, "You play Stick of Truth," and so now I have it, but I haven't actually downloaded that one.
So the weird thing is Stick of Truth's battle system is turn-based.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different gameplay. The humor is just as great, but it's really cool because when you play Fractured Butthole, it actually picks up literally, what is it, like a day later or whatever?
The same day.
They're fighting. The war that you end Stick of Truth on is the thing that Fractured Butthole opens up with, which is just great. But what you'll see when you do play it that's really cool is it's a completely different style of battle system. Like I said, it's turn-based, and I don't like turn-based games, and Stick of Truth is just perfect.
Well, and you also don't like strategy games.
Nope, I don't at all, and I loved Fractured Butthole. So
yeah, it's such a good game.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised between that. So I was on a holiday. So for Thanksgiving, I went home to visit my wife's family, which is middle of nowhere, Ohio. So basically, I brought my games packed with my console and played for 5 straight days. So I played all the Arkham Asylum, the new Arkham Asylum chapters.
Yeah.
I played the Guardians of the Galaxy chapters. I played the Life is Strange chapters. So all the walkthroughs.
Oh, damn. Easy
It's very
achievements.
small. So shooting sounds weren't working well, so those were great. Was you could just put the subtitles on. So those were all. Life is Strange is amazing. I don't know if you guys are playing that or.
The new one or the first one? The Before the Storm or the first one?
Yeah, the Before the Storm. The new one. So the Before the Storm.
Yeah, I haven't played that one. I played the first one, but not the new one. One of the issues I had with the first one is that the dialogue was just so corny. Is this one any better in that regard?
I think it's better. I think it's definitely better. I think it's a better story, which helps the corniness.
Yeah.
But if you want one of those, the best. I still say the best. If you want to walk through, the best one I've had all year is Edith Finch.
Amen.
Amen. I love that one.
I think you get 3 guys across the board that are going to agree with you on that one.
Yes.
That was an amazing game.
Play video games, and I made her play it just to watch the story, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, my fiance, that was her game of the year. Was Edith Finch.
Yeah, that was a really good one. But then, what else I played recently? Oh, COD. The World War II.
Yep.
And then something.
Are
So
we
what have
getting
you-
porn bots in the chat?
Yes, we just
What
got.
the hell is going on? David, what did you bring with you? We're getting porn bots in the
That's
chat.
our first porn bot. So
Thank you, David. adult dating, go to Sarah 23.
I bring a very high level crowd.
Did you also bring with you Carol Gonzalez, whose question was, how do you do squats? Did you bring her with you? That was her question for you. How to do squats.
I hurt my back over the weekend. I don't do squats. I can't. I hurt myself.
David, do you have a squat regimen that Carol is privy to that we are not?
Please tell us.
No.
It's literally a question in the chat. Carol Gonzalez, how to do squats. So I didn't know if that was aimed at you or what's going on.
I don't know, but that's awesome, though. But I would have to say I do them very poorly.
Oh, that's too fun.
So, Brandon, you talked a little bit about what you've been playing. Does that cover your whole list? You also watched a movie or something?
Fortnite, PUBG, Hello Neighbor. Oh, and Gang Beasts. Oh my God, I love Gang Beasts. So if you guys are familiar with Gang Beasts, it's been on PC for a while, but I've been with PlayStation for 5 years, and I have played that freaking game at the last 4 E3s. I just thought it was never going to come out at this point.
Yeah.
And it finally did. And I love it. It's just this weird local co-op or online co-op beat 'em up. The control is kind of like Octodad, where so you've got one L1 controls one hand, L2 controls the other hand, or R1 controls the other hand. You basically, the whole thing is about knocking out your opponent and throwing them off of the ring. Whether that ring is you're in traffic, you're standing on a top of a building, a lot of different weird things. So my wife and I played a bunch last night, and we have friends coming over tonight because the more you get in there, the Royal Rumble style, it's unlimited fun. So it's love that game. Have any of you guys, I don't know if you ever played on PC or at any PlayStation events, Doc or David, did you ever play Gang Beast?
No.
Negative.
It's a Double Fine game, so it's got their quirkiness to it.
Yeah, and I love Double Fine a lot, so I'll try it.
Love it.
Is there anything you can do alone, or is it just playing with people? I mean, my kids will play with me for sure.
Yes, there's wave modes that you can do alone, which are really fun. What's really weird is you can actually fire up, because I was playing it last night, and or a couple nights ago, and I fired it up with just one player, and I was like, oh, cool, I guess I'm going to battle AI. Nope, it's literally just you. I don't know what the point of that is. You pick your level, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then they put me in that. It's just me walking around, and I'm like, I just commit suicide.
It's just your avatar crying.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I have no friends. But single player wise, you can do wave mode. So it's endless wave mode, just to see how long you can last. Okay. But as far as watching, we put up the poll last week because I forgot to mention it on the episode. So, David, if you're not familiar, what we do every week is one of us puts out a poll of either 3 movies or 3 games that are in our backlog that we haven't watched. And last week I had movies, and you guys picked Doctor Strange, which is the only Marvel movie I haven't seen yet. And I was always on the fence about it because it just looked okay to me. But I really did enjoy it. I don't know if I consider myself a big Benedict Cumberbatch fan because I don't know enough of him other than Star Trek. And I never watched Sherlock, so I don't know a whole lot about him. But I really liked it as it got going, and I look forward to seeing what Doctor Strange opened up was a whole different kind of warfare in it than the Avengers have. So when he's in the new Avengers movie, I'm interested to see how they tie that in with everything. So I did really enjoy it, and I've seen every Marvel movie that's at least out at home. Nice. I don't get to go to the movies very much, so I'm going to be behind on all the other ones, but pretty much. But what about you, Alden? What have you been up to?
I have been playing PUBG. I played a lot of Fortnite. I started playing Nier on PS3 because Nier Automata was one of my favorite games of the year, so I finally wanted to go back and play the first Nier. It's a PS3 game. It's crazy to go back to a PS3 now because when PS4 came out, I labored over the decision to get one for a long time because I kept thinking these games don't look that much better than the PS3 ones. And they didn't at first. When you first jump into it, you don't realize how much better it looks until you go back and you play an old game and you're like, oh, well, I just played Nier Automata and I'm going back to Nier. So far, it's a good game. I'm I'm not very far into it. I've also been playing, like I said, I hurt my back because I'm an old man, and I've been laying down a lot. So I was trying to find games that I could play on my Vita where I could just kind of relax and not really focus on too much and just play. So for the 50th time, I decided to give Spelunky a try. I've never gotten into it, and I've always known, like, everybody loves it so much. And this is the first time where it's really like, I get it. This is fun. I can't stop playing it.
You just had to throw your back out.
I just had to throw my back out and not be able to move.
You should put that on the box.
Yeah.
Have you thrown your back out? You'll love Spelunky.
It's surprisingly fun. Everybody knows that already. I don't need to talk about it. But it's a little roguelike game, and anything on the Vita is fun to play. My Vita is just the coolest little thing. My phone is ringing.
Here comes Vita.
Yeah. I think that's about it. I haven't played a whole lot. I've been pretty busy, but that's about it. Got nothing.
What about you, Doc?
So,
Doctor.
well, as most of you know, I mean, it's finishing up finals week and the end of the semester, so I'm definitely working on 3 term papers, but I am always sneaking in matches. I've been playing Call of Duty, so definitely by far the best Call of Duty campaign I have ever played. I'll say that. And then the multiplayer is pretty decent. I put in about 27 hours this week on it, so that's a good game. Been playing dinosaurs as well. Ark. I love my dinosaurs. Me and my damn
the pregnant
dinosaurs.
DLC.
Oh, I saw that.
What is that, dude? What is that?
I'm like, can I get a refund? I don't want to get impregnated by a damn dino. I'm like, no, that just sounds weird. We got some weird bestiality stuff formulated over there on that. That was just kind of
David just signed off.
Yeah, I think I
nope,
missed
I'm out.
that.
That was just kind of weird for that. But definitely beyond that, I've been playing Jack. So Jack and Daxter on PS4. So definitely having some fun with that. If you all didn't know, my 2 favorite platformers on the PlayStation side is Tomba and Jack. So those are my 2 favorite platformers on that side. But yeah, pretty much beyond that, that's it. And of course, my backlog grew ridiculous. So over the week, 4K movies and games. So it's just, yeah.
I will say I gave up a lot of my gaming time last week. Thursday was the Game Awards, and then PSX was over the weekend, so I was watching a lot of stuff. Did you guys watch the Game Awards?
Yeah.
What'd you think? Doc, did you watch?
No, remember I woke up and I said,
Doc,
feed full of everyone just
on fire.
Yeah, California was on fire.
I had a fire a half mile up the road from my house, the lilac fire.
Yeah, that's right.
No excuse. You should have been watching the Game Awards.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it, all right?
It's so cool to see how far the Game Awards have come. Like this year was just it's an experience like the Oscars or like the Grammys, where they've got so much set up now and it's refined. It's not like it was back when it was on Spike TV and there were just like half naked women shaking their butts in between the games. Brandon's sad now, but I'm happy that it's more legitimized and fun. And what was Game of the Year? Game of the Year was Zelda. What do you guys think of that choice?
What about it was gonna win. Like we said the last time, Zelda received perfect scores the minute it was announced. So I'm not surprised. Obviously, I wanted Horizon to win, which David will be enjoying very soon. But it's I'm not surprised that Zelda won. What would your Game of the Year be this year, David?
I hate to admit it, but I'm actually okay with Zelda.
Okay,
Yes!
all right.
Woohoo!
Ask my wife. Spent way too much time on it. Like it really is to me. I think the best game of the year, and I hate saying that about franchises because I don't. Like when you already have it's like saying Mario is the best game ever too. You get tiresome, but the truth is, it really was. It was a game changer. I was really excited about it. I'm still. That's another game. I guess what I was not thinking about Xbox, but it's another game that I'm constantly going to.
Okay. I just got my Switch recently, and I have Zelda, but I haven't played it yet. I've only played Snipper Clips for some reason. I really like Snipper Clips.
Of all the titles.
Yeah, so I have Odyssey and Breath of the Wild and Mario Rabbids. Man, I'm playing Snipper Clips.
You're like, I finally got a Switch. What should I dive into? I can finally play Snipper Clips.
Snipper Clips. Hey, so it's a fun game.
$300 to play Snipper Clips.
Pretty much. Which is funny because I always said, I'm not buying a $300 Mario machine. Nope, I bought a $300 Snipper Clips machine. I'm a loser. What did anything get announced at PSX that piqued your interest, David?
You know, I hate to admit it, it's actually been a really bad week. Well, not bad, just been really busy here this week. So I have to watch it on replay. So I mean, I watch Twitter feed, Snapchat feed, so I know like some of the stuff we're talking about. But you know, until you actually see it, nothing blew me away from the big stuff other than some of the stuff. But there was no one big thing because I really want to watch it. So I really spend a lot of time on Twitter trying to hear every single video.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
and as far as
I really want to watch it. I really want to watch it. Like, just like, let me tell you, the moment that I'm out of my own E3 presentation, I'm shuttling over to watch the PS1. So, I mean, I really enjoy watching each other's presentations. So I want to see it, but I want to see it in its entirety. And so, you know, I don't know how because it's hard. It's long.
Yes.
So I got to have some serious time to watch it.
And the thing with it this year, which if you just read Twitter alone, nobody paid attention. PlayStation said right after Paris Games Week that we're not doing another showcase. We showed you everything you could possibly want. We don't have anything else to show you. So what it ended up being, I enjoyed it. I paid attention, so I knew it was coming. But it was a more candid conversation. Like they sat down with Cory Balrog from God of War, and they sat down with the people behind Detroit and Dreams and Kojima, and they sat down and they talked about their games. So it was a very intimate thing, and that just brought out the Twitter angry people because I guess they expected this giant spectacle, but
because it's been a giant spectacle for a couple years now. But now we're at the point where these games have been announced for 2 years. They can't keep announcing games.
Yes.
Like, what happens then? Because we're still waiting for those games to come out. So I get it. And I thought it was a really cool experience, and I like that they said up front, like, we're not going to announce a whole lot. They announced a few things. They announced Medieval. I'm really excited about Medieval's remastered.
Yep. I've never played Medieval, so I will play it this time around.
I loved Medieval. But I don't think they really announced anything else, did
just
they?
some VR games. And then they just hinted around about some dates and stuff like that. Like they said Detroit Spring, which is what they've been doing, but they put a little more like windows around it. But then they said that God of War is 25 to 35 hours long, which is awesome. And then at PSX, they said Last of Us 2 is 50 to 60% done, which is a bit surprising, but it's Naughty Dog, so they're still going to fine-tune it. So just because it's 50 to 60% done doesn't mean I don't think we're seeing it in 2018 as much as everybody seems to think that's what that meant. I still don't think that.
When it's 100% done, they're still going to push it back.
Of course, Naughty Dog, but if there's one company I'm cool with the studio doing that, that they can perfect that game. So yeah, as far as big announcements, though, the Medieval one is what they close with. And again, I'm not familiar with Medieval. I'm familiar with it, but I never played it. Did you play Medieval on PS1?
Yeah.
David?
No, I was more of a. I didn't really jump into PS1 that much, believe it or not. That was a system I was not really playing on. So I know, once again, I'm with you. I know the game, but I didn't.
Okay.
I was not playing that one, but it does look really cool though.
Mm-hmm.
What is your earliest? Here, we'll go off of that. What's your earliest video game memory? Like your first system, your first video game memory?
I don't think you guys realize how old I am. Atari 2600 has all my classic memories.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I actually even had systems before that. I was the Pong and the race car era where I remember I bought my older brother this race car game. This was before 2600. And like, for some reason, my brother, the typical dad, my brother couldn't beat my dad. Dad always had to win. My brother was probably, 12 at the time or something. And he just couldn't beat him, and I was like 7, and I came in and I tore up my deck. And it was from that moment on that I was hooked and all that. But I mean, you're talking way old stuff. 2600 is all my real one. And then, gosh, I still have in my office, I still have a ColecoVision and television. And
That's awesome.
They don't work, but they're there.
It's a cool thing to look at, though.
2600 works, though. The 2600 still works. My 5600 still works, but yeah, no, those are my classics. But then, of course, everything from there. But then you get more modern, and you get like the NES. Genesis is still one of my favorite systems probably ever made. That didn't get the love it deserved. Or Dreambox is the other one too.
Yeah,
the love it deserved.
Yeah, I think the Dreamcast was so far ahead of its time that people weren't like everything they did. Like they had the online, and they had the VMUs, the memory cards. Those were awesome. I think they were way ahead of their time.
It was also really easy to hack the system.
Apparently, yes.
And I think a lot of people. I had 2 friends that had a Dreamcast, and both of them also owned every Dreamcast game because it was really easy
hurts.
to. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, that probably helped kill the system.
Yeah.
Well, guys, no, go ahead.
My OG Xbox. I don't know about you guys, but that's how we all started.
Yeah.
No, okay. Go ahead, Doc.
Oh yeah, I was like, I mean, you guys seen my pictures I post. I have my OG Xbox and I have my Dreamcast next to it. I love my retro gaming. I love playing my Dreamcast. I play Shenmue every week on Sundays. I give myself an hour just to keep playing. I've probably beaten that game close to 30 times now, and I just love it. It's a wonderful adventure. So I don't know. I love the Dreamcast and the classic games.
I was in Korea somewhere in the middle of the year. I can't remember exactly when. It was somewhere in the middle of the year, and I went to their gaming market.
I saw your pictures.
Yeah, they get a lot of gray market off Japan, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So yeah, Doc, you've seen the picture, but it's always of nothing but classic systems, all original packaging.
Where was this? What area in Korea?
I can tell you. I mean, it's near Seoul, but I can't tell you. It's a famous market. It's in the electronics area.
All right, because I have a cousin that's stationed over there. Maybe I can make an excuse.
Make an excuse to go to Korea.
30 minutes from downtown, from the New River area.
Okay.
But it was just so cool to walk in. I mean, I've been in enough markets where it's all the modern stuff with PS and Xbox, but this was nothing but things going all the way back to NES and Genesis, just as far as you could see.
That's
and
awesome.
Every game too. It was amazing.
That would be epic, because I know when I was stationed in Japan, their classic arcades, basically where they sold that kind of stuff, was not that deep. They had some Dreamcast, they had some of those retro tiles, but I never saw anything like when you post that picture. I was like, that's heaven. Oh, that's funny.
David, when's the first time you held a controller and you thought, this needs some stuff on the back? We need some bumpers on this bad boy.
Honestly, once again, to knock on myself of how old I am. One of my problems is these days so during the 360 era, especially, even a little bit with Duke, but certainly the 360 era, I was playing a lot of claw.
Okay.
So holding your fingers up. Let's just say my fingers hurt a lot these days. I've gotten a lot older, and arthritis has kicked in, and one of the reasons we do what we do is the controller shouldn't be painful no matter how you play it, but it certainly shouldn't lend itself to making people play in a way that's unergonomic. We're not the first company to ever make buttons or switches or have additional buttons and all that, but I think the difference is, if anyone remembers back in like the OG 360 days, you didn't need a lot of buttons yet. It really was the face buttons. People were coming off of NES, and the game pads were much more simple, but then they got more complex, and now all of a sudden we have the black and white buttons on the controller, and it was really hard to do that weird press thing, and all of a sudden you had this semi-claw where the one hand's coming over so you can press the black and white. And then it kind of started. Then when 360 came out with bumpers, I don't know about you guys, but everybody was like, "Who needs more buttons? I don't know how this thing is like." And then of course it took a year before all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, hey, you need to be able to jump, shoot, aim, and hit your button at the same." You're like,
Yeah.
well, all right, and then everyone's clawing and like. But nowadays, I walk around, especially with like, has anybody do a Gears of War tournament or seen a professional Gears of War player?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Claw is still huge.
Yep.
Like huge. Like it's very popular in the Gear of War esports community, and it literally pains me. Like I will, I walk to because we'll go for the tournaments that we sponsor, and so I'll walk around and I'll see this 12-year-old kid playing with Claw, and I just want to smack the controller out of his hand. Just be like, the love of Pete, my man, I'm warning you. It gets painful after a while. And so the idea was like, the idea of the controller in general is, I mean, the more we look into it, it's not just paddles on the back, but there's a reason the grips are the material they are and then the location they're in. There's a reason we give you the different size toppers. Once again, everyone's already put a lot of these pieces together. There's companies that make grips, there's companies that make toppers, there's companies that make paddles. But the idea was not just give it to you like the classic. Well, Sony does the convex and we do concave. We go back and forth on that one. But the truth is, like all my controllers, I use one of each because I have one that I put on the top of the thumbstick and one I push up with the thumbstick. And so I like to switch between the two. So because it's comfortable for my hands, but the problem is, as more of my hands hurt, I was like, the whole point is people should be putting a controller in a hand that fits them, not finding a way to make their hands fit our controller.
Yep.
That was
Makes
really
sense,
the whole point of it.
Oh, very cool.
That's great.
So one more thing before Doc starts to wrap it up. One more thing that we have in common, all of us, is we're all fans of really bad football teams. David is a Redskins fan, like Alden and I, and Doc is a Colts fan, which they're even worse than our team.
Which I didn't know.
So this is possible.
I don't know about you, I don't know about Brandon and Alden, but if you guys might even be as bad as me, I'm also a ginormous Terps fan.
Yeah.
Thank God.
College football, but my A40 stuff is still all straight up Terp. Or even this is my personal Troy control or my Elite controller.
Oh, nice.
Like, I'm a diehard Terp guy, and like it's even sadder than my Redskins.
Yeah.
Now, are you an Orioles fan? Are you a Nationals fan? Or
I am an Orioles. So when I grew up in DC, went to Maryland, and then before I moved, so I spent my whole life there. And so I grew up the Reds. In fact, actually, when I was a little kid, we had season tickets to the Colts, Doc.
wow.
But then when they moved, I was bitter and became a Redskins fan. And I was an Orioles fan because that's what existed. But when I moved away, neither the Ravens nor the Nationals existed.
Okay.
So I refuse to root for the Ravens, but I do root for the Nationals just because they're in their national league, so I'm okay with
Gotcha.
I'm an Orioles fan over them, but
which also isn't easy.
yes, exactly. It has been a rough, especially with how close we got and I'm a Caps fan. Actually, hockey was one of my favorite sports, so diehard Caps fan. Another one that just crashes every year. So
every year.
Or if you're a Wizards fan, basically, if you're a DC sports fan,
it
ain't easy. It is not an easy life.
And by the way, they'll always be the Bullets. I don't care what anyone says.
I agree. I love the Wizards, but the Bullets is a far better name.
It is.
It'd
probably offend people nowadays.
Yeah, I know.
They wouldn't let
that's why they changed it.
It's not PC.
Yep.
And you two Orioles fans, how excited are you guys about the Yankees getting even better?
That's horseshit. Well, so I was already mad enough about Stanton going there, but what I don't like, and David can attest this, every single time you look at anything MLB Orioles, it's all this Machado trade talk. That shit needs to go away. And I'm so torn. So he is going to get a contract of $350-400 million, and Angelos isn't going to pay that. So you look at it and you go, get something for him. But I love that guy, and I can't fathom him in another. It's the same with you and Harper. The Nationals are going to for the Orioles, but Harper's going to get a $400 million contract.
They're talking about $500
and I'm pretty sure he's going to be playing in the outfield for the Yankees. And then Machado is getting bounced around between either the Yankees or the Phillies.
And Bryce wants to go to the Cubs.
I'd much rather, if God forbid we lost Machado.
That's a good move. I always say it's a good move.
If we lost Machado,
Yankees,
yeah,
no more MLB for me ever.
I'm fine with that.
I am so tired of the Yankees just buying everything. So if Harper goes to the Yankees, I'm done. No more MLB.
No,
He needs to come to the Cubs. That's all. I will be happy. I mean,
I'll be happy with the Cubs.
He's good friends with Chris
him.
Bryant, so he wants to go to the Cubs. Is the word on the street? But he could just be using that as posturing to get a $500 million contract.
True. And if Machado were to go to the Phillies, it wouldn't bother me as much because we'd never see him. If he went to the Yankees, I couldn't. Man, I can't. That would kill me. It's just gone are the days. Like my idol growing up was Cal Ripken Jr. Those days are dead. There is nobody who's loyal to their team anymore. They're loyal to money. So it hurts. But I selfishly want him to never leave. But I really am starting to realize that I do think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Like I don't know if he plays out this year because we're not going to be a contender. So get some starting pitching for him, and it hurts. But I don't want to. What do you think? Do you think he?
You got the doc.
Do we trade him before?
Doc.
what? I'm
doing?
just
Oh,
saying.
God.
I mean,
World Series trophy.
Yeah, what's up? I mean, you want one of these bad boys?
Somebody mute Doc.
I'm done.
But David, what do you think with Machado? Do you think we trade him before the season, midway, or he's gone at the end of next year?
Oh, I think with the Orioles right now, it's starting over. I think I'm okay getting rid of him now. Yeah, I mean, it's starting over. I mean, you need a lot more. So, I live in Seattle area now, and I feel it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's every year of just this one more player or keeping this one guy and getting one all of a sudden, and they're like, no, which by the way, I don't know if anyone saw all those trades, but Doc, you should be really happy. You got two great pickups.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically the Mariners just paid for your guy to get Tommy John.
Yep.
Every trade. And you got the guy that beat you in the. One of the guys that just beat you in the series. I'm like, getting Morrow. I mean, great trades there. I mean, but that's the kind of Ripken. I mean, that's what Orioles need to do. They need to because they need help everywhere. Mm-hmm. So it's not just one player.
The thing is, they've got a good young nucleus, but there's no starting pitching. But then you got Machado and Scope. And apparently they're talking to Scope, so I'm good with them extending him, but because he's not going to get $450 million. It's just I'm selfish. I don't want to see him play for anybody else, but I got to get over that.
Now that we've driven everybody off, that's not a baseball fan. I'm glad
baseball.
Glad we waited till the end.
It's America's pastime, people. All right, come on now.
Okay. Well, I was once he said, I was like, I wanted to make sure the trade that I was thinking of from the Mariners. I'm like, okay, yeah, Smiley. Yeah. So, I was making sure I got the right. It's that time for me. I haven't done it in almost a month on my for you guys fans out there to actually vote on what I should play. So this time it's games. And I'm actually including a little bit from each platform, so y'all have a choice. My first one is a gift from Santa Claus that showed up early. Near Automata? Is that how I say it? I think.
I don't know. I say automata, but I've heard it pronounced 100 different ways.
Okay,
I say Nier Automata.
Near Automata.
They are Automata.
Yeah, the Near game, and then. Then the only game I did turn it on. I walked my guy until I got a bow, and that's Assassin's Creed Origins. So that one, and then South Park.
Oh,
so,
damn, Doc!
So I gave you some heavy hitters because, like I said, I'm finishing my term papers, and then it's I have lots of free time. So before I fly out.
So what we do now, David, is we all pick which one we want him to play. That way, if and when, because it's happened a few times now, there's a tie, we go with the tiebreaker. So what game of those three do you think Doc should play?
Just because it's on my list to hit over the holidays too, and I feel really bad I haven't played it as Assassin's Creed. Everyone's especially with
down the middle.
We are.
Especially with the X and the graphics, I got to turn this on, but I haven't done it yet. So I think Doc's got to play that too.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's already clear.
I'm going to pick South Park, and he's going to pick Nier. So this didn't help.
It didn't help at all.
If I see a tiebreaker then between you two, I'm going to go with South Park.
All right, there we go.
All right. Yeah, Nier Automata is just so amazing.
Yeah,
Doc, I think you would like both. I mean, I think you're going to like all three games, obviously, but I think you would like Nier. It's such a great game. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because if you've listened to any of the previous 15 episodes, I've talked about Nier Automata. So,
okay, yeah. I mean, whatever one happens, I'm looking forward to. And my idea is if Assassin's Creed doesn't get picked, when I'm at Sundance Film Festival, since I'm not a partier and I don't go to those big movie thingies, I'll probably play that in my hotel at nighttime. So
get that casual little drop in there.
Yeah.
When I'm at Sundance Film Festival.
Hey, I'm going to class. What can I say? I'm doing ski slopes.
I'm just jealous. That'll be awesome, dude. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so I definitely am thankful that you came on, David. It's great catching up, great to getting some insight to what you like in gaming and everything else. And I do apologize that all our teams suck in sports. We have wonderful taste. At least we're positioning for better draft positions this year. So, on that, we'll for any closing remarks from the crowd, anything?
David, you got anything you want to say? Tell everybody where they can find you if you want them to find you. Where they
You know, it's funny. Like a lot of people are nervous, especially where I work, that they don't like the negative press. But like I said, most of the design changes we've made are based on social media, believe it or not. So I always put myself out there. So it's it's at the bottom. It's at DPRIEN on Twitter. It's pretty simple. Just my D Prime. Hit me up. I'd be happy to talk to you. I mean, it'd be nice if you wouldn't scorch me publicly and DM me, but I'd take it both ways. But no, it was great talking to you guys. Doc, I've known him for a while. Brandon, we've been hitting back and forth and all. We're just meeting, but it's been great knowing all of you. And anytime you want me back on, I'd be more than happy to come back.
Fantastic. You've been great and entertaining. So
absolutely. And congrats on the promotion, the new shift in job. That's awesome, man. So congrats. Well deserved.
Awesome. Well, on that note, I want to thank all our listeners and viewers for watching Digital Hoarders. You have yourself a wonderful, wonderful week.